You're here, right? Open the door!
Give me a break. I'm enjoying my new home.
Open it now!
Reluctantly, I opened the front door to avoid causing a scene in the neighborhood.
You're infertile, yet you dare to leave the house? I don't recognize you as my daughter-in-law.
My husband and his mistress stood there too. What?
For the sake of my new daughter-in-law and grandchild on the way, we'll take this house as compensation. Get out!
Yeah, leave already.
Exactly. Infertile old lady. Good riddance.
They're quite the talkative bunch, blissfully unaware of their own misunderstandings. My name is Olivia. I'm a 43-year-old office worker. My husband, Michael, is 1 year younger than me. We don't have any children. We had hoped for a natural pregnancy, but it didn't happen. After many discussions, we decided to live as a couple without regrets. Our one-bedroom apartment, where we've lived since getting married, is small and old, but it's convenient. Saving money for our own home while living modestly is also enjoyable. Recently, I was assigned to the planning department at work, which I had hoped for a long time. The hard work I put in during my sales department days paid off. I've been promoted steadily and have become someone relied upon within the company. As someone without children, my work is more than just a job, it's my purpose. However, my husband seems to see things differently. Huh? You quit your job again?
Yeah.
Wait! Without discussing it with me? I was too shocked to find the right words.
My boss got really upset when I refused the transfer.
So you quit because of that?
Well, it ended up that way, but I'm the victim here. It was an unfair dismissal.
I sighed. If that's the case, you should consider suing for compensation.
Nah, I don't want to make a big deal out of it.
Is that so? I knew what was really going on. He hadn't been unfairly dismissed. It was just his bad habit. His jobs never last long. It's not that he's irresponsible, but he suddenly gets fed up and quits. Changing jobs every 2 or 3 years has become the norm, disrupting our finances and lifestyle. It's frustrating. As partners, I can't ask him to endure unpleasant jobs. However, we're already in our 40s. Repeated job changes only bring more disadvantages. At times like this, I'm grateful we don't have children. I'll be the support. And when something happens to me, I trust my husband will be there for me. I knew that finding a new job wouldn't be easy, and time just slipped away. The timing wasn't great, and his age and work history became issues. My husband was getting frustrated. He stayed home every day without doing any housework, sighing constantly. If he had free time, he could at least tidy up the messy room he created. I have the right to be more irritated than you, I thought. Should I voice my complaints? In moments like these, our small home feels suffocating without an escape. Let's calm down. There's no benefit to arguing. Suppressing the urge to blame, I watched over my husband. Finally, he secured a job as a contract employee at a factory. It wasn't exactly what he hoped for, but it's better than being unemployed. Let's keep pushing forward, knowing that together, we'll be okay. One day, I received a call from my mother-in-law. Hello?
Is this Olivia?
Yes, it's me. What's going on?
I heard something about you being cold to Michael.
What? I was so surprised that I made a strange noise. I had no idea what she was talking about.
Isn't it cruel to treat Michael poorly when he's hurting from an unfair dismissal?
Wait a minute. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
I'd like to know that too.
You've been telling him to find work quickly or clean up, right?
How did it come to this? It's true that I've made veiled remarks like, "I hope you find a job soon," or "Please tidy up after yourself." But I never used a commanding tone. This is also one of my husband's bad habits. Whenever something happens, he immediately runs to his mother and exaggerates the situation. And she takes it all at face value. But when will he ever grow out of this dependence on his mother?
This is too much. Michael wouldn't blame you, would he?
Of course not. There's no reason for that.
What are you saying? Olivia, you deserve blame. It's because of you that there are no children.
Huh?
Some things are more important than work, you know? Regret won't bring them back.
Why is it my fault that we don't have children? It seems like my husband is quite adept at spinning convenient tales. We had discussed and decided things together, yet I feel betrayed. He probably wants to maintain his appearance, but teaming up with his mother to vilify me is like something a mischievous child would do. We're going to spend a long time together as a married couple, so we must not lose trust. With that in mind, I decided to talk to my husband that night. Please don't exaggerate stories to your mom. If you have any complaints, tell me directly. For the sake of our future, let's communicate openly, okay? My husband, clearly annoyed, began fiddling with his smartphone in the middle of our conversation. Hey, listen properly.
You're being annoying. I'm getting work-related notifications.
With that, he stood up and left the room, never returning to continue our discussion. Instead, he headed straight for the bedroom. Was he in a bad mood or just tired from his factory job? Either way, there was no helping it. We'd have to address this issue another time. But the next day, my husband continued to refuse discussion, claiming he was tired and sleepy. The day after that, he returned home late after a company welcome party, nursing a hangover and spending the entire holiday sleeping. Subsequent days were filled with overtime and social obligations, and it was clear he was avoiding the topic. He seemed to want to brush it off, but avoiding the problem wouldn't solve anything. I disliked being unfairly blamed by my mother-in-law without any basis. So, I rubbed my tired eyes and waited for my husband's return. We couldn't keep postponing this issue. It was too important. As the clock approached midnight, I greeted my husband, who returned home humming cheerfully. Welcome back.
Whoa! You scared me.
What's wrong?
Of course I'm surprised. Were you awake?
I was waiting for you.
Huh?
He gave me an annoyed look. Why are you avoiding me?
You're so persistent.
You've been acting strange lately.
Enough! If you have something to say, write it down.
Write it down. Wasn't our agreement to discuss things openly?
Yeah. You really remember things from the past.
I was taken aback. Did he forget our marriage vows? We both agreed that understanding each other was ideal.
I used to like your seriousness, but now you're inflexible and burdensome.
But
If you don't want to lose me, change your attitude. There is another woman out there.
What do you mean?
Exactly what it sounds like.
Could it be an affair? I have a feeling about my husband's recent behavior. You're kidding, right? What did I do?
You're so persistent. Do you want a divorce?
Please don't say that. My irritated husband pulled out a document from his bag and thrust it at me. It was a completed divorce form. Why would you have this?
Someone asked me to fill it out.
Who?
You should know without me saying.
I have no idea.
A woman told me to submit it.
I was speechless. Did he write this divorce form at the request of his affair partner?
Don't get too comfortable. You can't function without me, so remember that.
Trembling, I held the divorce form. I could hear my heartbeat.
What time do you think it is? I'm going to bed. Go somewhere and cool off.
He disappeared into the bedroom. I stared at my husband's name on the divorce form. What emotions led him to write this? Was he meeting his affair partner during his late nights out? I, who had supported his new job, felt like a ridiculous wife. My head spun, and I couldn't think. As instructed, I'll cool off. I left our home quietly, taking only my valuables and essentials. 1 month later. Since then, I haven't returned home. I've tried contacting my husband a few times, but there's been no reply. This room is quiet and comfortable. It soothes my emotions. The sunlight streaming through the windows illuminates the still empty living room. The air circulates well, and the cool breeze touches my cheeks, carrying the scent of wood. And then,
Olivia, are you in there? Open up!
her grating voice makes me furrow my brow. It's unmistakably my mother-in-law. I wish she'd cut me some slack. I was enjoying my solitude.
Olivia!
Reluctantly, I opened the front door to avoid causing a scene in the neighborhood with an expression of annoyance. My mother-in-law stood there.
I knew it! It's been ages.
She says it with delight, trying to barge her way inside. I push her back. Just hold on a moment.
Why? What's wrong?
Hey, can you actually see my face? I'm refusing entry here.
Well, not bad.
Behind my mother-in-law stands my husband, inexplicably. And next to him, who's the young flashy woman?
This place smells new, doesn't it? Nice.
Indeed.
The three of them act as if it's perfectly natural to invade my home. Their audacity knows no bounds. Wait, please. How did you find this place?
What do you mean? How? First, answer my question. Why do you treat Michael so poorly?
Huh?
Leaving everything behind and running away from home. How low can you be as a wife? Just because you don't like Sophia.
Sophia. She must be referring to the young flashy woman standing there. I see. She's officially approved by my mother-in-law. Wait a minute, did I actually run away from home? I remember my husband telling me to go somewhere, as if he was kicking me out. And there's my husband, cozying up to the woman, provocatively glancing in my direction.
It's a ready-built house, but the number of rooms is just right, and the interior is decent. With this, I'll forgive your impulsive purchase of a new house.
Huh?
But living together is impossible. Besides, you, being infertile, have a bad reputation in society.
What are you talking about?
Be grateful for all the time we've spent together.
Huh? Confused, I tilt my head. What on earth is going on?
Michael, I'm tired. Can I sit down?
Sure, honey. I apologize.
Olivia, let Sophia inside the house and let her sit down.
I refuse.
Ha! Sophia is pregnant with Michael's child.
Wait, what? Pregnant? This news catches me off guard. Surprisingly, my emotions remain relatively steady. Perhaps the shock of consecutive events has numbed me, or maybe I've become desensitized to everything.
We should respect pregnant women, you know? But you, being infertile, wouldn't understand.
Is that so?
You still don't understand? I recognize Sophia as Michael's wife, not you. As compensation, we'll take this house. Now leave.
Yeah, just go already.
Exactly. Good luck, infertile lady.
What are they saying? How could they be so oblivious to their own misunderstanding? I can't just hand over this house as compensation. It's in my name.
Huh?
Besides, we're already divorced.
What?
My ex-husband and ex-mother-in-law look shocked. Is it really that surprising? After all, they were the ones who handed me the completed divorce form.
What's going on? Weren't we starting a new life together?
Absolutely not. My flustered ex-mother-in-law and enraged ex-husband.
What are you talking about?
This house was purchased with my own money.
Ha!
Unbelievable. They haven't even read the emails I sent. You truly know nothing. The night my husband handed me the divorce form, everything I endured as a wife vanished in an instant, replaced by a sense of liberation. My heart swelled with joy, leaving me unable to think. Wait, am I really starting a new life? The realization hit me, and I felt dizzy with excitement. With a skip in my step, I signed the wife section of the divorce form and submitted it to the courthouse the next morning. I meticulously split our savings in half and transferred my ex-husband's share into his account. Considering my earnings up until now, I believe most of the savings were rightfully mine, but I wanted to avoid any disputes. Let's handle this through lawyers from now on, I messaged him. Using half of the savings we divided and the bonus I received afterward as a down payment, I purchased a new house. The remaining amount was covered by a loan.
A loan? Can you even get a loan?
My ex-husband's condescending tone left me exasperated. Well, considering your history of job changes, I doubt you'd qualify for a loan.
What?
You wouldn't know, since you don't manage the household finances, but my salary is double yours. I stated matter-of-factly. His pride seemed wounded, and he turned red, trembling. Even Sophia appeared taken aback.
Michael, this isn't what we agreed on. You said we'd live in a luxurious new house, remember?
Honey, let's calm down.
Poor Michael, or should I say my ex-husband, seemed utterly flustered. But truth be told, I'd been the one supporting our household all along. The idea of living with my ex-husband's new wife and ex-mother-in-law was beyond absurd.
Olivia!
My ex-mother-in-law seethed with anger.
This is unacceptable! It's fraud!
Who was the one who filled out the divorce form first? And who made him do it? It was the woman who will support you in the future, the one standing there, right? It's wonderful that you'll have a grandchild.
No! I'll take the house too!
Her flaring nostrils betrayed her arrogance. That's simply not possible.
A house this large would be wasted on you alone.
Well, I plan to live with my parents eventually.
Ha! What are you talking about? Even though you're my daughter-in-law?
Actually, I'm no longer your daughter-in-law. We're unrelated, I added, thinking that perhaps another delightful encounter awaited me. But of course, I kept that thought to myself.
What should I do? I was fully intending to live in this house.
Her shoulders slumped. What happened to the apartment where you used to live?
I sold that old property.
You sold it.
I happened to see you moving appliances into this new house, and I immediately contacted Michael. He invited me to live here together.
So that's what happened. I guess what's left is the cramped, old, one-bedroom apartment where I used to live. I won't sympathize, though.
I thought I would have a secure retirement with a young and obedient daughter-in-law who is not a tough career woman like you, a grandchild and a new house.
I wish she wouldn't speak ill of me while feeling down. Who has a tough personality? It's probably because my ex-husband was unreliable, so I had to be strong.
Disappointing. I'll tell Dad everything when I get back.
Sophia seems to have taken a defiant stance.
Ha! Wait, that's...
If Dad gets angry, it'll be trouble. You better take responsibility.
Sophia, please, just not that.
Now, why did my ex-husband get a young woman pregnant? Well, she was an office worker at the company, and after a drinking party, he went to her room on a whim. And wouldn't you know it, she got pregnant on the first try. He thought she was just an ordinary employee, but it turns out she's the daughter of the factory manager. Despite her flashy appearance, she is a lady raised in a girls' school, and she has had no experience with men. And get this, my ex-husband was her first partner, and of course, she had no idea he was married. Using the typical excuse for infidelity.
I've fallen out of love with my wife. We're getting divorced soon.
She believed those words and even prepared divorce papers for him. Quite the clever and obedient bride-to-be, it seems. Best wishes to them. Well then, that's that. Feel free to do as you please.
Wait.
He clings to the door, desperate to keep it from closing.
Olivia. Don't you have any maternal instincts? What do you think this new life means?
Olivia, if alimony is out of the question, I'll take this house as a congratulatory gift for the baby.
To my desperate ex-husband and ex-mother-in-law, I respond with a beaming smile. Congratulations! Goodbye. I shut the door without mercy and lock it. I'll leave the rest to the lawyer. Or so I thought, but it wasn't going to be that easy. These audacious people demanding a house in someone else's name won't back down so easily. My ex-husband's emails filled with resentment can be ignored by replying with, "Please go through the lawyer." However, the real issue lies with my ex-mother-in-law. She leaves lengthy voicemails, and it's truly exhausting.
Olivia, because of you, I've become a homeless old woman. Could you at least arrange for a different apartment? This home is cramped and suffocating. When I asked Sophia to do household chores, she retorted, "Why don't you do it? What am I supposed to do now?"
As much as I'd like to delete this voicemail immediately, perhaps it could come in handy. Her demands might escalate. After all, she's quite audacious. One day, an unwelcome guest arrived at my house. The intercom rang without any prior notice, so I suspected it might be my ex-husband or ex-mother-in-law and prepared to call the police. Clutching my smartphone, I answered the door, only to find a sharp-eyed, intimidating man standing there. I was on guard. I felt like I'd seen this person somewhere before, but there was no way I knew someone as rugged as him. Could he be a scam artist posing as a door-to-door salesman? May I ask who you are?
I'm Factory Manager Brown.
Suddenly, it clicked. Wasn't he Sophia's father, the factory manager? Come to think of it, that woman had threatened to tell Dad. My ex-husband and Sophia peeked out from behind the factory manager, grinning mischievously. They'd brought some formidable backup.
Dad, give her a piece of your mind.
Mr. Brown, teach her a lesson.
The factory manager pursed his lips, furrowing his brow. He seemed quite angry. What if they demanded compensation or asked for childbirth expenses? How would I handle it? The moment I decided to call the police and glanced at my smartphone. But then, the unexpected happened. Factory Manager Brown apologized with a sincere look.
Please accept my sincere apologies.
After saying that, he grabbed my ex-husband and Sophia's arms and dragged them in front of me.
Apologize. Apologize properly.
Ouch! My arm is going to come off.
Dad? Why? This isn't what we discussed.
I stared in shock. What on earth was happening? Mr. Brown clarified.
Don't misunderstand. I brought you all here to apologize to this lady.
Huh?
I truly apologize. My daughter stole your husband and even demanded your house, didn't she?
Yes, that's right. My ex-husband and Sophia started panicking. Sophia blurted out.
Dad, did you know about this?
I knew. Isn't everything you said to me, like I was deceived or my home was taken away, just a lie?
Where did you find out about that?
Your mom told me everything.
Mr. Brown clenched his teeth, anger evident. According to him, he was tempted by my ex-mother-in-law.
From now on, we're relatives, so let's get along in various ways.
She tried to seduce him, claiming that since his daughter had taken her son, they should work things out similarly. If he bought her a condo, she'd be satisfied, and he could visit whenever he pleased. Naturally, Mr. Brown politely declined. I'm left speechless and incredulous. How could someone like her be a mother-in-law?
All she does is spin convenient tales. I'm disappointed in you and your mom.
But
First of all, I've been faithful to my wife. Don't mess with me.
Dad, stop. You're scaring me.
You too.
Huh?
I've spoiled you too much just because you're my precious daughter. Neither of you is needed at my factory anymore. We have a strict workplace there. Go work there and start over.
what?
Then Mr. Brown looked back at me.
Will this be enough for you to forgive us?
Yes. But why? Why go to such lengths?
Please, Let's continue to have a good relationship.
I stared at him, utterly bewildered, as he apologized with a serious look once again. And then it hit me. He was someone I'd worked with long ago during my days in the sales department, a manager from one of our business partners. Apologies for not recognizing you earlier. I apologized in return.
We've undergone mergers and established new factories. It's only natural that you wouldn't recognize me.
I see.
The idea of your ex-husband working at my factory was hard to believe at first.
He averted his gaze, looking troubled. Is my ex-husband causing any trouble?
His work ethic is poor. He doesn't learn his tasks, takes unauthorized leave. Quite the contrast from his capable wife.
I could vividly picture my ex-husband's lackadaisical behavior, and it didn't surprise me. As someone no longer his wife, I could only offer a wry smile without defending or apologizing.
We intend to raise my daughter from scratch. I will never let her come here again.
My ex-husband shrank, and Sophia looked displeased. You were always good at training newcomers.
Indeed, I'm quite strict with them.
I'll be cheering from afar. Even with Mr. Brown's influence, it seemed challenging to reform my ex-husband. Ultimately, he'd need to change his ways through personal effort, for the sake of their innocent unborn child. I have only one regret. It's about correcting the misconception that infertility was my fault. We once went to the hospital together to investigate the cause of infertility. There was no issue with me, but my husband was diagnosed with sperm immotility. While natural pregnancy isn't impossible, it's challenging. The fact that Sophia became pregnant after that one-time mistake with my ex-husband, whether it was a miracle, exceptional compatibility, or different genetic material, doesn't matter to me anymore. During a work-related exchange, Mr. Brown provided me with an update. As it turns out, the couple and my ex-mother-in-law ended up living in that cramped, old one-bedroom apartment for a while. As part of their future cohabitation conditions, they promised to make an effort, saving money for the baby and committing to serious work. However, Sophia couldn't tolerate that lifestyle for long. Well, it's understandable. Given that I used to manage our household finances, my ex-husband probably doesn't realize that living solely on his income is barely sustainable, if not impossible. If they continue living freely without budgeting, the savings I split during the divorce will likely run out in no time. Sophia returned to her parents' home after giving birth and hasn't come back since. Meanwhile, my ex-husband grew disillusioned with work and quit. Panicked, my ex-mother-in-law reportedly stormed into Mr. Brown's house, demanding, "Give me back my daughter-in-law, return my grandchild, and take care of me," which apparently led to a police matter. It's all quite pathetic. Everyone is acting selfishly. But now that I'm no longer involved, I refrained from further inquiries. Factory manager Brown, good luck dealing with them. The new home is incredibly cozy. Although I worried about loneliness and illness without a partner, I've never once thought that I miss having my ex-husband around. It's no different from when I lived alone. I used to believe that marriage meant mutual support, but my ex-husband merely leaned on me. Now that the unnecessary element has been removed from my life, there's nothing to worry about. Fast forward 7 years. Our well-settled home now houses my parents, whom I summoned from my hometown. And there's also a former colleague from my sales department, the man I always competed with for top performance. Since my transfer to the planning department, our rivalry faded, but he occasionally wanted to see me. Funny enough, I felt the same way. When he learned about my divorce, he wasted no time asking me out. Now he's become a trustworthy partner. After years of working side by side, he's someone I can speak candidly with, an ideal man, indeed. Wishing you both a lasting and harmonious relationship.
How did you find this story? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time in our next video.